Hey, Rob here. Just had some thoughts I want to share with you about success in photography. So I remember way back years ago, possibly late 80s, early 90s, talking to the wife of a mom and pop studio in town, very successful photographers. There was a couple who dominated the industry and who I respected and looked up to quite a bit. And I remember she mentioned something to me, and I was kind of surprised that she said this because she was kind of a no-nonsense gal. Like you couldn't bullshit this lady. She was very down-to-earth, no-nonsense. And this is kind of a new agey thing that she said. Well, at least I thought it was, but there's a lot of truth to it. And what she said was, she said that no matter how bad business is, when somebody asks you, "How's business?" you always say, "It's great." So, and I was like, oh, really? Even if it's really bad, even if you're like starving and broke and things are going to hell in a handbasket, she said, absolutely, 100%. Always smile, always say things are great. And you know, I remember that and it stuck with me, and it's really representative of a larger truth and a strategy. You might even say it's a skill set, because it's really tied in with mindset and positive affirmations and all of that stuff. And as weird and as hooey and new agey as it sounds, there's probably a lot more truth to it than not. So, you know, I really believe that we set our course, we set our path, and if we have at our beck and call one of the greatest tools that we have available, which is our imaginations, and if we apply it the way she described it, it's really going to give it more power, more direction, more momentum. And instead of being, you know, a negative, down, and geez, you know, no, things aren't good, which is like the worst thing to do. So I guess in a sense, it's a bit of an affirmation, but it's empowered. It's an empowered affirmation because you're having an interaction with somebody else. And some might say, well, yeah, but that's a lie. Well, no, it's not. Business is great. Maybe you're not making as many sales as you'd like to. Maybe you're not getting as many bookings as you want to, and a whole bunch of other issues could be. But that's just the way things are, not necessarily the way things you want them to be in your imagination. So if you have a direction you want to go to, if you have some goals, right? That I want to go here with my photography business, and I want to go after these markets, and I want to be making this much money, and I want to have this kind of a studio, I want to have this kind of lighting, I want to do this kind of marketing, I want to market to these markets, to these niches, and I want to create this kind of work, I want to be this kind of a photographer. All of that stuff, if you know what that is, and I believe it's really, really important to get clear on that, it's probably one of the greatest skill sets that you can learn. When you have that and you've written it out, and maybe you're getting coached and you're reminding yourself every day, every week, every month of where it is you want to go, and you're taking as many action steps as is possible towards that direction. So if somebody asks you how's business and you say, it's great, whereas there's nothing much going on, it's still a legal, legitimate, truthful answer because it represents that with which where you want to go. So most people don't really understand this concept because most people are not self-employed, and you as a photographer running your own business, you're self-employed. So even though most of us are mom and pop studios or we're running on our own, so this is really, really important to apply and to strategize and to, you know, be okay with. And of course, you can't answer the question the way that she and I believe that you ought to when somebody asks you how's business. You can't answer the question that way if you don't believe in it yourself. So I believe that because she believed in that strategy so much, because she believed in it so much, it worked. Now here's a woman who was very successful. Her and her husband, very, very successful, made amazing yearly income. But she told me, she said, you know, there were times when, man, we were ready to pack it in. And I was like, oh, I know that feeling. Don't I know that feeling? And that's a struggle that's very, very real with most people who are in business, small business, medium business, large business, we have those challenges. I've always said that being in business for yourself is one of the greatest self-help, self-improvement programs out there, because it'll it's almost like the universe says, all right, you want to do this? Boom. Here, deal with this first. And that's just the way destiny is. And it makes you stronger in the end. It makes you tougher. It makes you more resilient. And most of all, it teaches you lessons that you never forget. And that never goes away, by the way. So that never goes away. I mean, one thing that I have a hard time with now, business is so good, and I'm not bragging or anything. However, I do tend to brag, as we all do. I'm human. But when somebody asks me how business is, I kind of get a little bit carried away, so I try and control myself because I'm excited, you know? I love these here, fairy portraits. I love bragging and talking about all those fairy portraits that we do and how successful we are with them. So yeah, I mean, that's the worst of my challenges, and that's the worst of my my struggles these days, is trying not to talk too much, and sometimes I put my foot in my mouth. So it doesn't matter if you're not there yet. If you can feel it if you can own it in your heart and in your mind and in your imagination, you are tapping into one of the most powerful forces known. And you have to see it, you have to feel it, you literally have to smell it and just know it to be true. No one else owns that, by the way, only you. It's not something you go to a program or seminar and to learn and master. This is something you have to resolve and get okay with in your own mind. So it's a very personal thing, and only you can do it. So you have complete control over your thoughts. That includes those thoughts. So, you know, might as well use them, right? Might as well use them to the best of your ability. I think this scares a lot of people, and being responsible in that respect scares a lot of people and keeps them away from working for themselves. Yeah, so keep that in mind, and it's something worth considering. If you have any thoughts, or if you have similar experiences or questions, put them in the comments below, and mostly hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. So just remember, it's an inside job. It all starts inside of you, inside of me, and that's where all success starts. So, all right, thanks for listening.